Hello beauties, welcome back. Just like how we sometimes change our skincare routine, today we changed our set.
Yeah, we thought it would be like fun just to mix it up a little, get a little more intimate with you guys.
Yes.
All up in your face.
Bring it back to OG Beauty Within when we started with the backdrop.
Correct. Hope you guys like it.
So today we'll be talking about switching up certain products in our routine, the main reasons for why we do decide to change products here and there.
And we think it'd be cool to kind of share our tips and where we think within the routine we switch it up most. Because it's not like, you know, cleansing, toning serum, we always go in and out. And if you're new here, what kind of skin type do you have?
I have dry, dehydrated skin, and it's so dry and dehydrated that sometimes it's oily.
I think that
so
came
my
with
T-zone
age.
pore, yeah, probably.
Yeah.
What kind of skin type do you have?
If you can't tell, I don't know if I'm oozing yet, but oily, and throughout the teenage years, it was very acne prone. That's what we deal with. We represent the whole gamut of you guys, so hopefully you can relate to something that we went through. And for this episode, it's sponsored by 3 Ships Beauty, which is a affordable clean beauty brand or skincare brand that you can find at Target. And we'll be sharing our thoughts on some of their most popular products to introduce you guys to that. So let's bring on first our cleansing step and discuss about cleansers.
Cleansers. Fel, so with cleansers, how often do you switch them and how many cleansers are you usually?
Revolving.
Yeah.
Oh God, we have so many cleansers, and obviously our situation is a little bit different because we're always trying. But when I'm at home, I tend to actually stick to the same cleanser. The only difference is, so I've been using this one, we mentioned it in our like previous videos. I've been using it throughout the winter basically. It was like that hug on the face that you always talk about because it's so rich. And then all year round, we tend to use gel cleansers. So that's like a year-long friend. So when we talk about switching it up, it never really switches that far away from gel. That's why these ones are, I'm coming back to this. So I've been using it and I just finished it. This is
I
the
just
Peach and
pulled
Lily.
this out
Did
to
you?
start using again, yeah.
Yeah, right? Because when it gets warmer, you just feel like something more lightweight. Not that this doesn't work, but you just want it to be like,
It's like a pina colada. This is Josie Maran's Pineapple Enzyme Pore Clearing Cleanser. It's very jelly-like. It reminds me of like the Natrium Gelée.
Do you still use cleansing, like the double cleansing method throughout the year?
Only when I have makeup on. Because I don't put too much on to begin with, sometimes I can just get by with cleansing oil and that's fine.
Do you find that some cleansing oils leave that like, you know how it leaves it kind of already moisturized? Do you like that or does that feel not complete to you? Because to me, I'm like, that's not complete.
To me, I'm like, great,
That's
nourished.
the difference.
Yeah.
Yeah, for dry skin and oily skin. Okay, that's awesome. So the reason why I brought these two and why I have so many is because I always like options, right? And for oily skin, I feel like this one is fit for both of us. But the foaming ones, this is from 3 Ships. This is the one with papaya and salicylic acid cleanser. So much like the Josie Maran, it's got the papaya, this is pineapple. And what these 2 ingredients are great for is because it's an enzyme, it breaks down and, you know, sloughs away that dead skin without being a chemical exfoliant.
So it's very gentle.
Yeah, and what this one has on top of that is a little bit of salicylic acid. So generally the foaming cleansers work really great for oily skin because you need to kind of balance and take away excess oil, but not too much. So like you can see, it goes on like this.
Ooh, it's so watery.
Yeah, and then it kind of just like, I don't know, what does it smell like?
It smells clean.
Yeah.
Smells like clean skincare.
Okay, so that's a good point because this is a relatively new brand for us too. So 3 Ships, they came about because the 2 founders realized like within clean beauty, it was always like really expensive or greenwashing. Fear mongering, where you can't use this, and like, you know, it had to follow this whole kind of extensive checklist of not having all these ingredients, or you had to pay an arm and a leg for it, and there was nothing in between.
A brand comes to mind right now, one that we mentioned recently.
Yeah, and it can get so expensive just for the fact that like they're marketing it as this like in its own little realm. It like feels like you can't sit with us unless you don't have all these things. Sometimes clean beauty can feel like that.
So the name 3 3 ships takes us back to the Voyagers who are discovering the Fountain of Youth. Though it is a myth and no one is really sure what happened there, there is a tale that 3 ships found the Fountain of Youth versus like the fleets and fleets and fleets of ships that were probably all looking for it. So very similar to the brand ethos of less is more. Sometimes you don't need 1,000 things or 1,000 people looking for this one thing.
So they also go by the EU standards, which means there's a lot more ingredients that they forego within their formulation. So it's all very gentle. I've been using this, and for my oily skin, it works fine. But as I said, it would probably be maybe a little bit too much for dry skin, and it just feels nice and clean and brightened.
So very similarly, this has the pineapple enzymes and it's marketed to have pore clearing abilities as a cleanser. I just like it because the texture is nice, and then the pineapple enzymes in this more like jelly foaming wash is pretty unique, because usually I find the pineapple enzymes in those the powders.
Yeah.
And then those, because you have to emulsify it and then there's some like granules, it does irritate my skin a little because it is getting so sensitive these days. So it's nice to have it in this like jelly formulation. Like, it's beautiful.
It is so pretty. You just look at it and it feels fresh.
And it smells very fresh too. You expect it to smell like pineapple cleanser. Oh, it does smell like that.
So what were you using before this, and why did you change to this?
So I think with cleansers, when you do have dry skin, you tend to go for ones that are just very nourishing. Like the milky cleansers, I was using Laneige's new oil to cream, oil to foam something.
We featured that in a previous video.
And that I'm still using. So I chop and change between all of them as well. It's just this one I thought was the most fitting for the changing of the season.
Yeah. Great. So speaking about milky, I think milky is really good for dry skin. It just feels like no cleanse.
Does it feel like anything to you?
No.
No, it doesn't do enough. But I love the Serums milk cleanser.
Yeah.
It's amazing. How is that compared to this?
Oh my God. Comparing it to the Serums one, it's a little bit more runny, but it's just beautiful and subtle, and it's like a hug on your face without being too thick, like maybe the Tatcha. And I love that you can dry cleanse with it. Actually, all of these you can really dry cleanse, probably apart from these two, but it's just like
imagine dry
beautiful. You'd be like, moving kind of like marshmallow on your face. Okay, and why I love it is because it's got one of our favorite ingredients, oat. And so it's very calming, it's very nourishing, it's very clean, but leaves your skin feeling like skin. I feel like you can almost use this as a 2-in-1 kind of cleansing oil balm thing and cleanser. So yeah, these are just kind of like options. I went from this to any of these 3. What do you guys think about cleansing? Leave questions below as we move on to toning.
Toning step. Is it a necessity? No. Necessity.
No.
Oh, what did you just say?
No.
But do you like it?
I love it! Dude, I don't think either of us could get past without toners.
See, that's one thing that Fel and I were talking about. We were looking into a lot of celebrity routines on like Vogue or Allure or Harper's Bazaar, and one thing that I was baffled or just pretty surprised was that a lot of people don't tone. They cleanse their face, they go straight into serum, and they moisturize. Sometimes optional with moisturizer, and then they SPF.
It is interesting though, because if you think about the formulations that toners used to have, it was like an astringent. It was more like taking away, right? And then I think the whole K-beauty movement came in, which then brought in things like pH balanced toners, hydrating toners, soothing toners. But anyway, all of these are like super hydrating.
Yeah. Even the exfoliating ones.
Yeah. So there's different types you will see of toners and toner essences.
Here, let's categorize them. I feel like this is very hydrating. This is essence. This is like in between this. What is this? This is
That's full on hydrating. Yeah, and then you have your chem. Yes.
Yeah. Is this?
Yeah,
It's slightly glycolic, so it's like this.
All right, guys, so if you haven't come across toners, they will be separated into basically these 2 categories. Hydrating with no chemical exfoliant, chemical exfoliating ones. And I feel like if you want like a tight routine, you need one of both. Because for me, for acne-prone skin, I love chemical exfoliating toners.
Generally, I use something like this on a daily basis, twice a day. So morning and night. On days, maybe once a week, where I feel especially congested, I'll use this.
Ding ding. This is the Peach and Lily, the Good Acids Pore Toner. It's got AHA and a little bit of turmeric.
I think it's a very gentle chemical exfoliation. I would say before I was using the Ren AHA Daily Tonic, and that one worked beautifully. I just feel like the percentage of that may be higher, and that over the years, as you guys know, if you follow along, I haven't been using as much chemical exfoliants, and I feel like this is more than enough. These two actually. So I would switch these two interchangeably, and then sometimes at night, sometimes in the morning.
Do you find there's a difference? Because there's the word milk in here. I just feel like it's more
I feel like
nourishing.
this definitely is more nourishing. I wouldn't mind putting this on my palms and then patting it into my face. However, with this one, I just put it on a cotton pad because that's generally how I like using chemical exfoliating toners.
Yes.
So that it's really taking things off as it should. But I guess this one, yeah, it's a bit in the middle because there's birch juice, marshmallow roots, squalane. It's a bit thicker, just like slightly.
Oh yeah. It's like really
this?
watered down. I never tried this one.
You never?
No. So without really going much into it, because we do go deep into these, mandelic acid is really great if you have sensitive skin because it's like PHA, where it's less aggravating than glycolic acid. And then this one has niacinamide, HA, BHA, and PHA, all formulated in a way that's like gentle on the skin, but really does like a lot to
The whole
even it out.
shebang.
Yeah. So how I use these, I'm the same with Ro. Most of the week, I'll be using these. You know, that's like my second bottle of the Haru Haru Wonder. This one is also a favorite that mentioned to death, the Beauty of Joseon Ginseng Essence Water. All of these you can splash. You can keep splashing.
Layers and layers and layers and layers.
Yeah.
On layers, on layers, on layers.
Yes, it's so good. And this was like the most recent. I've been using this to death. Oh my God, it's just
Sorry, I'm gonna spray my face. I
amazing.
don't know why I just made that face.
It's so good. I'm so excited,
excited
for
to
you to
use
try
it,
this
yes.
one. And then when, like, you know, because I get problematic hormonal kind of breakouts, when I feel that coming on, or it's like that week that I know it's gonna come, then I'll start kind of using these. And then you just kind of use it until you feel like you don't need it anymore.
And I think for Then I Met You, just because they have an essence, and you know when a brand formulates their products, it should be able to work together pretty well. So whenever I do use this one, I just pair it with the hydrating essence.
How is this essence?
I love it. It's the giving essence. There's black chokeberry, galactomyces, and red algae. It's really hydrating.
Okay, so we have serums and an emulsion. So right now, Rue's using Peach and Lily, Transparency, and the Glass Refining Serum.
And these two.
And these two, yes, from 3 Ships. And I'm also trying out this Naturium Azelaic Acid, which is one of my favorite ingredients. Okay, so what are your thoughts on seruming throughout the year?
I just think because my skin is so dry, and then I do have fair skin, so it does hyperpigmentation, sun damage pretty easily, and I have a bunch of freckles. So something that's a hydrating serum or a brightening vitamin C serum is a must in my routine, just to keep everything.
Yeah, so it's basically the brightening ones. I think it's the same in terms of like hyperpigmentation, but for acne. But in my mind, I think of toners as more of an essential because I'll go cleansing, toning, maybe 2 or 3 layers.
You do go for periods of time without
Yeah.
using serums.
Yeah, I'll just like not want to deal with it. Only when I feel like, oh my God, what is happening to my skin? Then I'll do the kind of full gamut routine. Actually, these 3 we've never really mentioned about. We will talk about Peach and Lily. We just did a whole interview with
Yeah, I don't
Alicia.
think you guys need to know more. This is just the glass skin refining serum. This is the transparency. You can use it together and it's amazing. It's brightening. There's 20% vitamin C with the niacinamide and the peach extract. Amazing.
Yeah.
That's it.
But also she went through extensive testing for this to make sure that it was like suitable for sensitive skin, and it was also effective, and that was really great. It's like oily.
It is.
Yeah, it's quite thick and it's comparable like in texture. It's like an oil serum, right? Okay, so for 3 Ships, they actually have a bunch of different serums, but their most popular and the ones we've been trying is the Dewdrops. Super exciting because it's also a vitamin C as well as having mushroom and hyaluronic acid. And then this one is the Glow Serum and it's got 49% jojoba oil serum. So these two are like oil serums. Let's first start with this because it's beautiful.
Let me just just first say, every time you talk about mushroom, you talk about how it's very similar to hyaluronic acid. And then in this is just, you just put them together.
Yeah. And like when the name says dewdrop, they ain't kidding. Wow. It is an actual dewdrop. And then you work it in. The funny thing is, even though it holds its form, after you blend it in, let it sink in, it's like skin-like.
It is.
It doesn't even feel like you have anything on.
Yeah.
But it's done all the job of hydrating the skin. So yeah, mushrooms just like make me really giddy. I love eating them.
So very similar to one of our favorite serums that's probably like 5 times the price of this, the Glow Recipe Plump Plum Serum. There's also Kakadu Plum in here, which is what gives it the vitamin C
Aspect.
boosts.
Yeah.
Yes, and then there's also red algae, which is super high in antioxidants. It's very beautifully formulated and it feels very cosmetically elegant.
Yes. I was gonna say the only downside of this is that it's so small. Like I feel like I would go through this so quickly, but then I was thinking about it, like one of the worst things about vitamin C is that
It goes off.
now you can actually finish it. You feel the joy of finishing something and then you know, repurchase or get it again or whatever it is.
And I will say recently, I just went through my whole skincare beauty cabinet and I realized most of the things were like 5 years expired. Now I have this newfound mentality. So for example, I have, you know, the Arborian CC cream that comes in the giant tube for like $48. I would rather get 2 smaller ones because I saw in the back that it expires in 6 months after you open it. I had that thing for 2 years.
Yeah. So yes, got to rework that frame of mind.
Thanks for coming to my TED Talk.
So
Moving on.
One that's bigger and probably because it's an oil, I'm not sure. But jojoba oil is one of those really fast absorbing oils and it gives the most like beautiful glow to the skin.
Hence glow
Serum. Yes. And the thing is like, for my skin, I wouldn't use this in the summer.
Yeah.
Absolutely not, because it's already producing enough vitamin E on its own. But I feel like for you, even like 1 or 2 drops.
any time of year. So jojoba as an oil, regardless if you have dry skin or oily skin, it works across all skin types because the oil mimics the natural sebum that our face already produces.
Yes.
Now, this azelaic acid emulsion, 10%. First, tell us, what is an emulsion, Fel?
Okay, this is really interesting. I don't know how to describe an emulsion because they're all so different, but this is like creamy, like it's milky.
I remember using this and being like, oh,
Yeah.
it's like the dewdrop that holds its form.
But in a milky form. So you guys know, if you've been watching for a long time, thank you, by the way. One of my favorite products in the world was the Paula's Choice 10% Azelaic Booster. And that one is also this kind of creamy, milky consistency. And I think that's just what comes with azelaic acid kind of products. Although they do have the serum as well. I actually prefer this formulation over their like watery kind of azelaic because it just is smoother. This one also contains niacinamide, allantoin, so it's soothing, skin building, and like, you know those products that just even things out?
So azelaic acid isn't to be confused with any of the other acids like the glycolic, the lactic, because even though there's acid in the name, it's not a chemically exfoliating acid. But that being said, as always, good to put on SPF no matter what you're using, especially something like chemical exfoliants and or vitamin C.
Okay, so moisturizers. Love moisturizer, first of all. It is a staple for everyone, no matter what age, where you are in life, like whatever mood you're in. Moisturizer for sure. And I feel like it's the most changed out product depending on season because of the consistency.
Yes.
There's just so many different types. There's gel moisturizers, there's thin lotions, there's heavy duty shea butter ones.
So I've been using Clinique for the past, I don't know, weeks.
Same, cheers.
Yeah, and then I chop and change this with the Make Prem, Safe Me. There's also the Lagome, the Cellus cream, that's really good, like the deep moisture Cellus cream. I like it, it works great. And I think for the winter time, I just put a thicker layer. You know, I put like 5 giant globs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When it's hotter out, I'll just put like half the amount and it works perfectly. So recently, I just re-stumbled upon this beauty that we've talked a lot about in the past, not as much recently. So after I got home last night, I looked in the mirror and my pores were like, I'm happy. Ding, ding. I'm not clogged. worked. And like it looked, because you know when it's filled and there's like black stuff,
yeah.
it like looks even bigger.
Yeah.
So all of that was gone. This is the main thing that I changed.
So I use this throughout the winter up until like probably last week. I love this so much. The texture is just so beautiful and smooth and silky and glides all over your face. I only need like 3 globs, whereas you need like probably a lot more. But it's not that I can't use this now that it's getting warmer. It's just like I feel like I want a little less on my
Do you
face.
ever feel congested using this during this time of year?
No, but it lingers on for longer. So anyway, moved on when it gets warmer, I move on to the gel creams. I stay away from gel creams during the winter because it almost feels colder.
It does.
Right?
Because it's gel.
Yeah, it's like too watery and I feel even like,
Especially ones with the water burst.
yeah.
Like your blue one, A by Bob.
Yeah, I would like not use that. Oh my God. This is from April Skin. It's also another Korean brand. This is the Artemisia Squalane Hydra Gel Cream. I also want you to use this because this is awesome. It's in between a gel and this. Like, it's not clear, but it's like a gel milk. So the key ingredients are Artemisia vulgaris extract, which is I think mugwort, and squalane. If you want soothing, calming, oh, it's just so good. Like it's a lighter weight version of this almost.
It does have like the water burst effect.
Yes. But it reminds me of all the Biossance products where it's lightweight, but it's got the squalane, so it has depth. So actually, what I've been doing, the Biossance mist, I use that, and then I'll just like do this.
Wow.
So streamlined.
That's amazing.
Yeah, or I use this and maybe like the azelaic emulsion in between, or I put that in between here. So nothing really changes, but it's just like the warmer it gets, the lighter the moisturizer gets for oily skin.
So 3 Ships, they also have a moisturizer. This I would say is more suitable for people with drier skin types. There have been a few reviews online that for more oily prone skin types, it may clog your pores.
I think this is too much for me in the summer. Although it's got a really nice silky spreadable formula, it leaves that kind of lingering, kind of nourishing that for my oily skin is a little too much. It's a little too heavy, which is why I go for like gel creams. But yeah, definitely more for the combo dry. But I do love that it's in this like airless pump, which I'm a fan of anyone who
I wish
does
this came in that, especially it being this massive.
Yeah. And the grape stem cells, you know, you can think of the grape skin as protecting the actual grape itself, right? So it works in the same way where it's like protecting your skin against UV damage, which means that it's fighting off free radicals, which means it's retaining your youth. You know, that is how aging happens, premature aging. Okay, next. After the moisturizing step, we have sunscreen during the day.
So after my little mishap with the glow screen, I went and returned it for the unseen sunscreen, and it's amazing. It's just the texture takes a bit getting used to. I remember the first time I ever used it, I was like, oh my God, this is so weird. It's like applying oil, but it's not even just oil. It's kind of like a silicone-y oil on your face, but it still works into your skin beautifully for someone like me who doesn't like the feeling of silicone, but it feels fine. It's like as if it's not even there. And the fact that it just works and blends so nicely and easily, effortlessly into your skin. This will make people who don't really like sunscreen want to wear sunscreen.
Yeah. It's just like insane how they came up with this concept of invisible sunscreen. Like when this came out, I remember it was like years ago, right?
Yeah.
Everyone was like, what? And like, as they should have been.
Yeah.
So on my vanity, I have 2. It's the Thank You Farmer one and the 9 Wishes. They're basically the same. The Thank You Farmer one I use less of because it's a little bit whiter, but it still blends in. I really like the 9 Wishes because it's so creamy and blendable. But yes, it's well under makeup. Okay, so what's this?
The very last thing is lip products. We don't talk nearly enough about lips. This specific one from 3 Ships is just, it's buttercream and it smells like a vanilla cake.
Yeah,
I
birthday
just wanna-
cake.
Yeah. In there's sunflower seed oil, avocado oil, shea butter. It goes on beautifully. It's a lip mask, but I would just use it as like a ending step of my skincare routine to just seal everything in, especially before going to bed. It's a great thing to put on to make sure you don't wake up with raisin chapped lips, because that happens to me all the time. Even when I put on something like the Papaya ointment, I'll wake up and I mean, I don't know if I'm like making out or like, you know, rubbing my pillow when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, this one, it's like in between a creamy and a waxy. It's like right in the middle.
But it's like a very nicely, not overly sticky, glossy finish that I actually really, really appreciate this finish.
Okay. So we've brought our family back on.
Giveaway time!
Giveaway time! Okay, so because we've talked a lot about it, we obviously want you guys to be able to try it as well. So we're doing a 3-ship skincare giveaway on our IG. So all the details will be below, and we're really excited for you guys to try it out. If you have any questions about how we chop and change, what you guys, hopefully this covered like the basics and the not so basics maybe. If you have questions about products, leave them below. And if you have ideas on what you want to see next, thoughts, opinions, whatever it is, also let us know.
And with that, Fel, what is something you learned this week?
Oh yeah, oh my God. This new set, I was like, I forgot about everything.
Wait, what do you guys think about this set?
Thumbs up if you like it.
And thumbs up if you don't like it.
We will not take no.
Thumbs up if you like it, comment if you don't like it, because that also boosts our engagement.
Yeah, and we need everything. So one thing I was like listening to was gratitude is a shortcut to happiness. Although it's simple and we all kind of like know it, it's kind of like if you're feeling down, if you're feeling whatever, pitiful, woeful, woe is me, just pick one thing in the day, like a highlight of the day while you're sitting in bed. What's one thing that you happy that you accomplished that day? And then you can be happy about it. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you very soon. Bye.